welcome to another episode of A Closer Look. Thank you for joining us. Papua New Guinea National Census is ready to roll out this year after 13 years of delay. Preparations leading up to the 2024 census have given confidence to the Minister for Administrative Services and Vice Minister assisting Prime Minister Richard Masere and the National Statistician John Igitoy that this exercise is ready to roll out on the 17th of June.
Preparations towards the 2024 national census have started after its launching on the 27th of March 2024 in Port Moresby. Within this period, the National Statistical Office has given directions to the provinces to recruit enumerators who will conduct the data collection. They have undergone 3 stages of training to fully equipped with necessary knowledge to perform this massive census exercise. The Census Director, Ajili Kele, explained the importance of this training.
Divided into 4 levels, of which we have the 0 tier, the first tier, the second and the third tier. The third tier is the most important because that is where we have our trainers train the data collectors, and that's the main training, of which it is actually spread throughout the country in almost all the LLGs that are identified as the training venues. So,
on the 17th of June, which is tomorrow, the 2024 national census will kick off in the country. People in the country are being urged to prepare for this in their respective households. The Census Director explained the strategy that will be used to collect the data.
The methodology in terms of how we want to count people, where the reference night of which we have defined as census Sunday, the Sunday the 16th of June, actually ask where you slept on that night. So you are counted where the location of which you slept on the Sunday, the 16th of June. So that is where you are counted.
According to the National Statistician John Igitoy, schools in the country will be closed for 2 weeks to allow for census exercise to be carried out in the country.
The Department of Education has brought forward their holiday calendar to 2 weeks. Thanks to the National Department of Education. By Friday, their teachers will be on holidays that will connect to this census operation.
Among the proposed number of enumerator, which is 22,000, the National Statistical Office has also recruited teachers across the country as enumerators during the 2 weeks.
15,000 plus teachers around the country that will be recruited as part of this program. It's important to recruit people with understanding of the basics of how to operate a tablet and so forth, so that the information they collect is accurate. So around 20,000 at this stage, but we're looking at around 22,000 people to carry out the census across the country.
The government has supported the 2024 census with an amount of 300 million kina funding initially, which was then reduced down to 150 million kina.
The proposed budget was around 300 million kina. So, of course, we had to digest that amount, and then we had to fine-tooth comb it to make sure that whatever that was proposed was what census actually required. And by fine-tooth combing the budget, we were able to cut down the budget from 300 million kina down to 153 million kina. In other words, we've saved the state around 150 million kina.
Based on the budget, they have allocated between 1 million and 1.5 million kina to every provinces.
We've also signed MOUs with all the provincial administration, and the support that they're giving is that where additional logistics is required, or where certain areas of conference rooms need to be used for training, they've offered all those facilities for us to be able to use. So,
Minister Masere and the National Statistician John Igitoy has expressed confidence towards the success of the 2024 national census. They have indicated on several occasions that they are ready to conduct census. Richard Masere pointed out some of the areas that they have considered.
Our landscaping is one of the biggest challenges. We're quite remote in some places. And also, as you're aware, with recent climate change impacts that are affecting the country, where we have in large number of rainforests, we have in certain areas flooded. But we've put in place a contingency plan to ensure that areas that are affected by floods or droughts or affected by landslides, we have a program to work around it to make sure that we pick up, if we can, the relevant data of those particular areas. In the event we are unable to access those areas because of those challenges, we will do an estimation, and once the environment is accessible, there will be a follow-up plan to ensure that we go and register those people that are on the ground. So,
with over 20,000 enumerators recruited across the country, the National Statistical Office has purchased 22,000 tablets with a cost of 17 million kina for the census exercise. The enumerators will use these tablets to collect data digitally.
As it's been collected, it's simultaneously been uploaded onto the cloud-based application. So that means that any data that we collect will not be lost. Unlike in the past where they used manual data collection, of course, when documents were not handed in or papers went missing, it couldn't give us an accurate population data. But with this digital space, it is important that as they are uploading and where there is network, and that's why we signed an agreement with Digicel, because they have a wider coverage across the country, is that as they are uploading the data, it is automatically being uploaded into the cloud application. So we can get a more accurate and more relevant data as they are uploading in respective locations.
On Thursday this week, the Census Operations Center, or COC, was officially opened by Minister Masere and Mr. Igitoi. This center is purposely for communication, monitoring and coordinating the 2024 census operations that will be conducted in the field. Minister Masere urged the general public not to hesitate to call if they need clarification or to share information regarding the census. They can use the toll-free number 180-1676 to call from any network in the country. Prime Minister James Marape also issued a call for all Papua New Guineans to participate in the census. PM Marape said knowing the accurate number of the population will help to plan for education, health, infrastructure, law and order, small to medium enterprises, and various other government interventions. Mr. Masere also explained the importance of national census.
And based on that, the United Nations template that we generally use, or the world generally use to calculate the growth per annum, we should be sitting around 12 million this year. So if the data was shared a couple of years ago at 17 million, obviously there's a concern, because we need the accurate data to ensure that the country prepares well, plans well, and then we can be able to ensure that we've got enough medical drugs to ensure that our population is taken care of. We must have adequate classrooms to ensure that all our children are catered for. We must have proper planning. So if we're building roads to where the populations are. So these are important elements that any country needs to have. So data is critical.
Finally, it has been confirmed and approved by the Minister for Administrative Services, Richard Masere, and the National Statistician, John Igitoi, that the 2024 National Census will start on the 17th of June 2024.
After this break, we take a closer look at the two recent by-elections. Stay with us.